Well, good evening, everyone. Great to see you all. Thank you so much. Mr. Crook, do I need to speak into this in order for the... All right, well, before I forget, let's thank Mr. Crook in the booth for being here. Thank you, Mr. Crook. Thank you all for being with us tonight. I want to thank the WPC for hosting a lovely social event. Let's hear it for our WPC officers. Ms. Martinez and her team, we do appreciate it. We are recording this presentation so that we can send it out to the community, but we were hoping to get some people here in person. So thank you so much for venturing out in the tundra that is Annandale right now. We do appreciate it. So this tradition of doing a State of the School address really only goes back a few years here at Westminster. It's something that I started my second year as head of school, so I've only done it for a few years myself, but it's definitely something that I enjoy and something that I think is appreciated by our community. And it's really nice for us who work here to look back and say, well, we did those things that we said we were going to do. So hopefully tonight we will be demonstrating that we've delivered on some of our promises and made progress on many of our goals. So I have become a Marcus Aurelius nut. I don't know if you're familiar with Marcus Aurelius, but I knew of Marcus Aurelius, but I had not really studied him, or at least I don't remember having done so. I probably did when I was a student here, but I don't really remember it. And I became aware of him again, and I bought the book Meditations, and it's just been such an affirmation of our philosophy at Westminster. I think Mrs. Gall absolutely must have been a Marcus Aurelius fan. And since that time, I've learned that lots of people are Marcus Aurelius fans, including Jerry Seinfeld, of whom I'm a big fan. So it all makes sense. So I thought for tonight, for my philosophical part of my presentation, we would enjoy some quotes from him. So any quotes that you see in the presentation are from Marcus Aurelius. And I think you will see that he is in alignment with our philosophy at Westminster. I want to thank our staff members who are here this evening. Thank you all for being here, my friends, my colleagues. Let's hear it for the awesome Westminster staff. So I have, for the last few years, done this presentation with a beginning that is rather philosophical. I think it's always good for us to revisit why we're here and what it is that we are striving to do at Westminster with our students. And I've been focusing a lot this year with the kids on giving back and understanding that they have a responsibility to do so. We don't always really realize how very fortunate we are to live the lives that we live and to live where we live and to have all the privileges that we have because we just are used to them. And so I'm trying to make them aware of that. And certainly that dates back to the days when I was here at Westminster. We've always focused on that. So last year we talked a lot about independence and encouraging letting go with the Let Grow program that we started this year, which has been, I think, fairly successful. We've got some reluctant parents who are not quite ready, but I appreciate those who have embraced the idea and will continue with Let Grow for years to come. It's not a one-year commitment. It's something that we believe in and want to continue. But this year, we're going to talk about giving back, and specifically at Westminster, something we call age. So I have a clicker, so let's see if it works. Hey, what do you know? Mr. Crook gave me the high-powered clicker, he told me today. All right, well, this is actually a quote from the Bible, something that I think from Luke 12:48, but it is something that I think transcends different religions, and you can see it's found the same philosophy, the same idea of generosity and giving back, that those who are given much must also give back. So to whom much is given, much will be required. And I think that idea of understanding that not everyone has what you have, not everyone has the benefits that you have, and because you have those benefits, you owe it to society, to humanity, to give of yourself, to give of your talents, to give of your time back to society, which will only make for a greater world and a better, happier experience for all involved, including yourself. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I thought it was interesting that this is one of those philosophies, as is often the case, that you can be found in multiple religions and multiple mindsets. And there, Marcus Aurelius says, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. And there you can see it in Judaism and humanism, more versions of it being realized. And then this idea of noblesse oblige, the inferred responsibility of privileged people to act with generosity and nobility toward those less privileged. And I think a lot of people think of privilege as having to do with wealth. And it is a misconception among many people that private schools are for rich people. They're for wealthy people. And it's one of the battles that we fight in independent schools is that mindset that it is something that we really can't afford. We can't afford that investment. But of course, all of you know that that is exactly where you should put your investment. And I'm very proud of the fact that Westminster manages to be affordable for most middle-class families and who are willing to sacrifice. It takes a sacrifice, as we all know, and that we offer financial aid so that families can enjoy a Westminster education. But anyone who lives in Fairfax County has a certain level of privilege when you compare where we live to the rest of the world. And we are very fortunate. Look at all of the parks that we have that we can visit. All the experiences we have in DC that are free.
We were just talking about this with our students this morning, actually, in our monthly assembly. The fact that the children who go to Westminster have been given so much, and we want them to appreciate that and show gratitude for it. First and foremost, the education that they're receiving here, the challenge that they're being presented with daily, the character instruction that they're receiving, and the confidence that they're building as a result of that. We've already applauded some of our staff members. The fact that our children are here daily with such highly qualified people with the warmest hearts and the greatest care for them as people. The fact that here at Westminster, everything matters, that we're paying attention to the details and teaching them to recognize what is excellent in the world. And all of you. The fact that we're doing this in partnership with the wonderful families that we have in our community, and the Golden Triangle that makes it all possible, makes us effective in what we're doing and raising the children the way we are. So we need to express and recognize how important that is to our success. And then the fact that our children are being taught to value and see what is beautiful in the world around them, in the school, when they come into this beautiful building every day and they see the pride with which our maintenance staff maintains the grounds and the interior. And so they're surrounded by that beauty, and then they're taught to recognize that in the rest of the world. So these are things that we were discussing with them this morning, all of these things that they have to be grateful for. And so because of that, they need to give back. Part of what's so special about the way that the children grow up here is that they are constantly given opportunities to push themselves, of course with the support of all of us, you and their teachers and admin here, but the fact that they develop that closeness with their teachers in the small class settings that we have, all of the chances that they have to present themselves to an audience, to speak in class among their peers, up here on the stage in the various talent shows and plays that they're in. In the athletic program, the character that builds and the growth that happens on the field and on the court is exceptional in the Westminster program. All of the field trips that they're exposed to in a given year, 7, 8, 9 field trips each academic year, allowing them to explore the community outside of this building. Those opportunities, those chances for growth are another aspect of what the students grow to be grateful for and express appreciation for. So here at Westminster, and we talk a lot about this with the 8th grade, but we also introduced it to the younger students today in our assembly, and we'll continue to reinforce it with them as they grow, is this idea of age. That part of the Westminster Way is embracing a certain attitude. That's the A. And by that, we mean a positive approach to each thing that the student is engaging in throughout the day, throughout the school year. A respectful attitude toward all of the teachers, the parents who are making this experience possible. Also, having an attitude of resilience, that when confronted with challenge, you don't give up, you pick yourself up, you keep trying. The gratitude that we're trying to instill in them, recognizing that they've been given these gifts and that they have an obligation to show appreciation for that in a really deep and significant way. And that we're looking for them to be enthusiastic with each and every opportunity that they're presented with, giving them themselves to the experience, really investing that effort and contributing with goodwill in those experiences. So this is something that we look to the 8th grade to be role models in, but we look for this kind of approach from the students throughout all of the grades as they grow. Okay. I'll be back.
Sorry about that. Okay. I talked to the kids about this morning because it's this is Mr. Gloverism, by the way. He came up with age, attitude, gratitude, and enthusiasm. And I want to point out that it's not a suggestion. We expect it. And that means that when they're not behaving in that way, we will speak to them about it. And because we think it's part of being a good person, and it's the right way for them to be raised up to adults. So it's all about your way of thinking. Like Marcus Aurelius says, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. You decide whether or not you're going to be happy. Things happen to you, but you have the power to decide what you're going to do about those things and how you're going to frame those things in the best light possible. And I can think of many great examples of Westminster families who have done that, who've not had an easy time of it, but have found a way through it to find light at the other end. And those people are great examples to the rest of us. Okay, I keep thinking Kevin's going to do that. Excuse me. All right. So this is a daily practice that we do here. It's intentional. It's something that we do intentionally. It doesn't just magically happen. And I think it's one of the things that makes Westminster unique and special. I don't know that most schools are thinking about these kinds of things, such as we expect them to clean up after themselves, to understand that they have a responsibility to take care of their own mess. It's not up to the custodial staff to come in here and clean up after them. They need to take responsibility for that. That they should care for spaces that they're in, to leave spaces better than they found them. Oftentimes when we go on a field trip, we might go on a picnic like we do when we go to Williamsburg. And maybe there's trash laying around on the ground. Well, we're going to clean that up. We're going to wash our hands afterwards, but yes, we're going to pick up the trash. And why? Because it's caring for the space and caring for the earth and leaving a space better than you found it, and not thinking that you're too good for that. That mindset is not going to serve them well, thinking that they're too good for something. There's way too many adults walking around right now who think that tasks are beneath them. And we believe that no matter what task you're doing, you should do your best at it. So I don't care if you're sweeping the hallway out there in the hallway. You've got the sweeper. We have those old sweepers that the kids use, or they're taking out the trash, or they're wiping down the desks, or whatever it is that they're doing. They take care about it. If they're writing a paper, they do it with neatly, completely, and with pride. We teach the children to say thank you, to thank their teachers at the end of class. It's lovely. They not that I necessarily tell them to thank me as they're leaving every day, but they've been taught to do that, so that it is something that they do sincerely, and it makes them feel good. It makes me feel good, and it's just the right thing to do. The teacher has imparted some wisdom. She's given her time and spent that quality time with them. They should say thank you. To thank their coaches for their time. To express that at the banquet. To stand up and speak about why they're grateful. I taught the 8th graders how to write a proper thank you note this year, and how to address an envelope, thank you very much, which I then went to the post office over winter break and encountered a gentleman who had to be about 19 and 20 years old. I kid you not. I'm sorry if he's watching. I don't think he is, but he didn't know how to address an envelope. So he said to the man, "I'm young, I don't know anything." That's what he said. So of course that got my attention. I started paying attention to what he was talking about. He didn't know. No one had taught him how to address an envelope. He did not know where to put, so the gentleman wrote "from" in the left-hand corner and "to" in the center of the envelope. And he said, "Well, what do I put by 'from'?" He said, "Well, you put your address there." He went through the steps of explaining to him, and where does the stamp go? He doesn't know. I teach the kids how to write a thank you note. And what is it that you should say when you're thanking someone at a party? What is the appropriate thing to say to someone? They've had you to your home, to their home. You've had dinner. You went there for a birthday party. How do you thank the host? What's the right thing to say? To thank the docents and the guides on field trips. They practice that, and we plan for that ahead of time. Who would like to thank the docent? And they know how to do that. They know how to say thank, and the docents can't believe it. They're just absolutely blown away because people don't do that anymore. No one says thank you. So why do we insist on this? Because it's the right thing to do. Gratitude expressed daily becomes humility. Responsibility practiced daily becomes leadership. And respect shown daily becomes empathy. So what do we want to raise up? We want to raise up adults with humility, who have leadership skills, and who are empathetic. Many other qualities as well, and there are many ways that we develop those qualities, but these are important things about just being a good human. So Marcus Aurelius says, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. We have signs in every classroom that say think before you act or before you say something. And the T stands for, is it true? The H stands for, is it helpful? The I stands for, is it inspiring? The N stands for, is it necessary? And the K stands for, is it kind? So is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If it meets all those criteria, then yes, you should say it or you should do that thing. Many of them have yet to master that, but that's what we're working on. And it's very simply stated right there by Marcus Aurelius. And beyond Westminster's walls, the things that we're doing for the community, I'm very, very proud of the fact that our K-Kids Club has become so active. We started that a few years ago, and Mrs. Coles is one of the sponsors for that with Mrs. Lowe. And already this year, they've done so much for the community. These are just a list of just a few of them. It's not even everything, but Martha's Table, Northern Virginia Family Services, Wreaths Across America, Inova Children's Hospital, Food for Others. They made holiday cards for the veterans. They made like 150 cards for veterans. Book, blanket, clothing, toothbrush, diaper drives, Toys for Tots. They are learning to give back. And they are finding happiness through doing that. They love going and delivering the things to the people. It makes them feel good. And that's something that comes from generosity. It makes you feel good. Of course, makes the person you give the thing to feel good. So I love that we're reaching out to the community beyond our walls. It's so important for them to develop that selflessness and that joy of giving. And then what we're trying to do is raise them up to give back to their school, then their community, our country, and the world, to become global citizens. And we're about to publish our Westminster Review, and in that magazine, we have several alumni being featured, as we usually do. And I'm very pleased to see that our graduates not only are living lives that are full and rich for themselves, but they are giving back. And many of them talked about the things that they're doing outside of their own, personal life and their own career. And that makes me proud. And our Westminster graduates achieve their dreams, serve others, return here with gratitude. The graduates understand what they got here. The ones who are here, they don't quite get it yet, but they will. And they come back with gratitude, and hopefully they go off and make the world better. Marcus Aurelius says, dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. Just taking in the joy of a beautiful day, recognizing how beautiful a sunrise is or a moonrise is. We want them to do that. So that brings us to parents. We want our parents to give back too. And frankly, we have to have that. Westminster would not work without all of you. And most of the time, we find it's the same people who do everything. And many of you are in this room right now. And we are so grateful to you for all the time that you spend, the hundreds and hundreds of volunteer hours that you offer to the school, the many ways that you give back of your time, of your talents, of your pocketbook. You give back. And we really need everyone to do that. We need the whole parent community to do that. And just think what we could do if we could all give back. And I think that those of us who work here really appreciate that. It really buoys our spirits when we see the parents giving back to the school. And there are many ways to do that. All kinds of, Jory's going to talk about some of those ways today. Lauren's going to talk about some of those ways today. But even just being here tonight means so much to us. Not that I understand not everybody could be here, but we do expect that. And Westminster only works with those gifts of time, talent, leadership, and financial support. And your giving back models gratitude for your children. They are watching. They are seeing when you're here, when you're showing up, when you're volunteering, and they're learning from that example. And they also will want to be in that same, be seen in that same light as a parent who gives back. And frankly, we can't do everything. We can't. The tuition does not cover the cost of what it takes to run this place, and we simply could not do it without you. And that means your time, it means your talent, doing the sets, all those things. How would they get done if the parents didn't help us? We'd have to pay someone. And even just field trips and things like that. It requires that annual giving fund in order for us to thrive in the way that we do today. So I'm very grateful to the parents. And Marcus Aurelius was grateful for his ancestors. You can see what he had to say there about it. So I just hope that we can really focus the rest of this year on this attitude, gratitude, and enthusiasm, not just our 8th graders, but all of our students, all of our staff, and all of our parents, and that the whole Westminster community will come together in giving back, not just to the school, but to each other, because I think it just enhances all of our lives. There's science to gratitude. It brings happiness. It brings better mental health and physical health. Plus, you will make lifelong friends. As I've told you many times before, I still am very close to people that I met here at Westminster as a mom. So give back in all the ways that you can, and we will be most grateful. So that is, I think, my part, and I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Jacobson, who's going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing for the last year.
I love the role I get in this presentation. I get to tell you about all of the accomplishments that we've achieved over the past year. And the very first one is huge. So I am thrilled to be able to advance this slide and to say that this past year, the Griffin Field and Playground Plaza were built. The dream was made reality. So I think before I say anything, that deserves some applause, some major applause. This is not an artist's rendering. This is an actual photograph. So underneath the snow and ice, this beautiful field is what is there. And when I went out to look at it on the terrace the other day, I teared up. And I know that many of us sitting up here did the same, because what you're looking at in this picture is a lesson in faith and perseverance. This represents years and years and years, going back to Mr. Glover having the vision to purchase this land and to oversee the early phases of the development of it. But really, I think one of the things that we need to acknowledge tonight is that the reason this exists is because of Mrs. Schuler's unwavering dedication to this project. It has been incredible for all of us to watch, and I'm so proud of her for all of the effort that she put into it, each phase, from the licensing and the saga that was, to the fundraising, designing the various features that you'll see once you walk into this new part of our campus, purchasing all of the equipment, financing the project, and then overseeing the construction. Her dedication is unbelievable. And now it's been brought to fruition. So this spring, the whole thing is going to be imbued with life. We'll hear children playing out there and athletes competing and the applause of the crowd. Can't wait to hear the first cheers of Go Griffins. It's happening. So this is a result of many years of a whole lot of people supporting and believing and giving and working to make this dream come true. So thank you to everyone who's had a part in it. So that is a pretty big way to start this list. The list of accomplishments goes on. There we are in our hard hats. That's how we spent our summer last summer, because it was a season of construction. The new HVAC system was installed throughout all of the academic classrooms. So now the entire building has an upgraded HVAC, energy efficient HVAC system. And also, the building just got a whole lot brighter for a couple of reasons. We had new ceiling tiles that were put into a lot of the classrooms, and the ability then to utilize the best of the ceiling tiles that we already had in the hallways. So that added a brightness. And also, we installed new lighting in the hallway spaces too. So it was quite a summer for that transformation happening throughout the building. In addition, we were able to provide salary increases and an annual end-of-year bonus to our staff, very important, of course, as a gesture of how much we appreciate them and value them for their loyalty and their incredible diligence, but also an acknowledgement of the cost of living of this area. And in the current climate where there's a general teacher shortage and professional burnout among teachers, it's important for us to take those steps to retain our staff. And you can see that last year we had 100% teacher retention from 2024-25 into this school year, this current school year. And with that comes a continuity that allows the teachers to build off of what they achieved in the previous year in their interactions with each other as teams and departments, but also in their relationships with the students. And so in the end, the children really benefit from that. We've done a lot to improve marketing practices as well, including hiring a company called Next Gen Media to redesign and modernize our website. Mrs. Schreiner will talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. We've strengthened fundraising efforts. So the annual fund has exceeded goals for the past several years, and that was true of this past year as well. But the big thing, which I know that Mrs. Coles will elaborate upon, is that we reached a historic milestone for Westminster School, and that is that we raised over $1 million for the Field of Dreams capital campaign. An amazing achievement under Mrs. Cole's leadership. And she'll talk a little bit more about those details later. We've worked very hard to grow our presence in the community as well. So I want to mention a couple of things there. We are members of a couple of chambers of commerce, and Mrs. Schreiner and Mrs. Coles have played a big role in going to the various functions of those organizations to make our presence known there. We've become a platinum sponsor for the Taste of Annandale the last couple of years, and in going there this past fall, Mrs. Schreiner and I definitely experienced the fact that our presence in the community is ratcheting up. So many people came up to our table and talked about the field project and seeing that construction going on, our visibility from Annandale and Gallows Road. So that was very, very nice to hear and experience. We've also been building a relationship with our local first responders, the officials at the police station here, as well as the fire department, having meetings with them, inviting them here to campus for different functions, like the 5K Sports Day and our Community Helpers Day. So that has aided in the growth of that relationship in the community, as well as a partnership with Mr. Jimenez, the Mason District Supervisor. And so we had him come for a groundbreaking ceremony. Mrs. Schuler is, in constant communication with him. So that is also helping to build that community presence. Additionally, we've had some tech improvements over the past year. With a whole set of 24 Chromebooks for the use of the students and 15 new laptops for the teachers. We have new spotlights in the theater space as well, thanks to Dimes for Drama fundraising, allowing Mr. Crook to continue to work his magic. In athletics, we made an investment even before the athletic field was completed, investing in renting a regulation-sized soccer field this past fall so that our JV and varsity teams could use that for practices and for home games. And we saw immediate results from that, building their stamina, refining those skills, and really allowing them to embrace that Griffin pride on home game days as well. It led our varsity boys team to a conference championship victory. So that was lovely to see and so exciting for them. We have 2 new basketball shooting machines in the gym. helping the athletes to have increased repetition in their practicing, developing that precision and mastery of those foundational skills in the sport. And the season's off to a great start. The language department has continued to grow. Now Spanish is being taught in 5th, 6th, and 7th grades. Another exciting development. As Mrs. Schuler mentioned, the Let Grow program is off and running. So we're seeing the students use that to embrace independence and resilience and courage to try those projects on their own, and realizing the pride that they feel when they've done something completely on their own, what they're capable of. And we've heard many tales of success about cooking and laundry and lemonade stands, going into a grocery store and shopping. So that has been really wonderful to see the children taking on those responsibilities. And with all of this development that is happening here, we're seeing increased admissions interest. Again, Mrs. Schreiner will expand upon that, but with our visibility raised in the community and the campus transformation that's happening with the field and the playgrounds and our online presence and marketing effort, with that came more applications, and so we're projecting that our enrollment will be up for the 26-27 school year. Very, very exciting. More to come in a minute. In the long-range plan, we have several things in the 5-year range that I wanted to mention here. First, we have a portion of our roof that is a flat roof that stretches between where the library is and the music room. So we're looking to replace that section of the roof. Also looking at classroom space and what some solutions might be as the student body grows. Where are we going to accommodate that? And so thinking about placement of a modular unit that can give us some additional space as we're thinking toward a longer range project that I'll get to further down in adding a new wing of the building. We want to renovate the main office. That's in the 5-year plan, especially with an eye toward opening up the sight lines between the main office and the lobby. Additionally, trying to bring about compliance with energy efficiency standards by replacing all of the windows in the building. We're looking into and exploring a comprehensive branding study. So that would involve, perhaps bringing in a marketing firm to analyze our brand and what families value about our school and align that marketing strategy with the transformation that we've had on campus over the last couple of years. And then finally, as I said, in the longer term, 5 to 10 years, we are looking toward those plans to add an addition to the school building where the old playground currently is. So that would include a lot of very exciting aspects to it. More classroom space, but also a new science lab, rehearsal rooms for music, for orchestra, various art spaces. So that is quite an exciting prospect coming in the 10-year span.
Thank you so much. Well, let's hear it for all of that. I'm pretty proud of all we've done in the last year. Obviously, doing the playgrounds and the field and the HVAC, that was a lot to get done in 1 year. It's exciting. This strategic plan was actually presented last year to you all, and it hasn't really changed that much other than we've updated it to reflect the things that we have accomplished. But I did want to just include it again. I don't think that we have time to go through each slide, so I'm just going to pop through them quickly, but this presentation will be available and you can come back and look at it at any time. But we did share it last year after we had our VAIS visit and we updated our strategic plan. So these are sort of the things that we're thinking about over the next 5 years that we would like to see happen for the school, having to do with governance, development, community outreach, faculty and staff. These are sort of ongoing goals that we are already working on, many of them in progress, but things that we would really like to be able to report about at our 10-year visit, which will be coming up in 2029, I think it would be, right? Because we just had our first 1 year. And then school programs, those things that we are looking toward doing for the curriculum. We are reviewing our curriculum. We will be updating that over the next year. So certainly a lot has happened since the last time we did our curriculum update. So there are many changes already to put in there, but these are other things that we want to strive for over the next 5 years. Facilities, I think space is our greatest challenge. We definitely are going to need to do something. This year, I think we will be able to manage, but in 27, 28, we need to be in a position to make some decisions about how we're going to manage the space. The reason that we have the space issue that we have is because we moved the preschool here. And when we did that, we gave up 3 classrooms. So those 3 classrooms, for a time, for about 10 years, we rented space at a church, and that's where we housed the preschool. But it was costing us a lot of money every year to do that, and we had space to squeeze them in here, but as the enrollment goes up, we're going to need those classrooms back. So that's why we are in the position that we're in. So my hope is to build this modular unit, which I have some preliminary plans for, that would house 3 classrooms, probably for the preschool, a big multi-purpose space, and then some private lesson rooms for the orchestra. So it would be a space for the orchestra to practice, but also for it to be used for other purposes. And, you know, obviously that's a big thing. So we have to do a feasibility study and make sure that we can manage it. The big reason we need to pay off the loan for the field is so we can build that new wing. So keep that in mind, that we are still fundraising for that field. Okay. More facilities improvements, technology. We will be launching a new website later this year. And now I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Falk, our chair of the Board of Trustees. Here for Mr. Falk. Need a click for you.
Hi, my name is Keith Falk. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees. And along with Mrs. Schuler, these are the other board members. We have Nina Breen, Francine Cannon, Clay Carney, Matt Holcomb, Lane Nimro, Mojan Norbosh, Nathaniel Smith, Michael Townsend, and Jenny Wills. The board is made up of 2 main committees, that is the Finance Committee and the Planning and Development Committee, which meet on a monthly basis. And then we also have an executive committee that meet as needed. We've also established recently an alumni committee whose job is to reach out to alumni and also plan alumni events. And then in the last year, we've had a committee for the field construction, field budget, and the fundraising, which is just as important. The board considers the tuition the most important decision we make every year. Okay, as you can see, 75% of the budget goes to salaries and benefits of the teachers. And we recognize that to maintain the excellent teaching and administrative staff that we have, that we need to pay competitive salaries. The other parts of the budget are physical plant, which are the grounds maintenance, repairs, and upgrades, which I always like to throw in my personal opinion that Mr. Doshik and his team does a great job of keeping up our school. We have a beautiful campus, and I give him a lot of credit. Additional expenses are our general administrative expenses, insurance, professional fees, etc. Additional program expenses, technology, textbooks, teaching materials, advertising and marketing, which are web management, online budgeting, publications, student benefits, which are the field trips, athletic programs, drama programs, annual photos, yearbook production, and the bus operating expenses, which are the drivers, maintenance, and fuel. So that's where all the money goes. You're probably aware that we're no longer providing the tuition insurance for 100% of the student body. We've been tracking that expense for years and found out that the insurance premium significantly exceeded the cost of any recovery we were ever receiving. It seemed to be a very rare instance that a student just leaves without qualifying under one of the exceptions that's already provided. And as a result, these savings were passed on to everyone when we established the budget for next year. So in a way, everybody benefits by doing that. But quickly notice, I think in your registration package, if you're in a situation where there's an uncertainty and your tuition insurance can be bought on an individual basis. Okay, the next thing would be the tuition. Okay, as you can see, 77% of our revenue comes from tuition after discounts and financial aid. Because that's such a significant portion of the budget, we spend a lot of time trying to predict what that is, because you have a certain number of students that's leaving the school each year. We have students moving up class by class, and as you're aware that the tuition for various classes differ as you move up. And then we're trying to determine what a reasonable number of students that are going to be added to the student body. Other than the tuition revenue, we have our revenue from extracurricular programs, annual giving, and the various school bus fees, application registration fees, and miscellaneous facility rentals and tutoring. After the budget's complete, it's presented to the full Board of Trustees to balance the projected revenue to the anticipated expense. We were able to determine the tuition schedule for the next year. So this is what the change in the tuition is from 25 to 26, goes up to 26 to 27. So you can see that, like I say, it's about 5%. In some cases, we smooth that so the step increase wouldn't be as great, but that's what the new tuition numbers are. And then here's a comparison schedule. And although we firmly believe that our program is the best educational program in Northern Virginia, we also provide a very competitive tuition. So you can see what other schools are charging compared to what we charge. And we're comparative, if not less, than a lot of our local competition.
And a lot of those are last year's fees, this year's fees, because they weren't all available for next year. So if it's green, it's 25, 26 tuition, and if it's white, it's 26, 27.
Okay. So the overall health of the school, I'd like to say we're in a position to take on, the additional costs that comes along with the infrastructure, the new field, the HVAC system. We do have our records audited every year. We have a clean financial audit. We're pleased that we have consistent leadership in the school that has gone on for years and years. We have a dedicated, highly trained staff. Enrollment is up, attrition is down, and we feel like the addition of the athletic facilities is just going to continue to grow our enrollment. So the state of the school is the future is bright. Sure.
I want to say that we're very fortunate to have the board that we have. Keith is a great friend to the school, great friend to me, great supporter. And, but they take on responsibility for the financial well-being of the school, and they hold my feet to the fire about it. So they make sure that we're being responsible. They make sure that we're making sound decisions. And I'm very, very grateful for his advice, for the advice of the Finance Committee and their oversight of how we're spending the money and making sure that we are being responsible, because we're spending some money right now on this field. And it worries me a little bit, but I know that we're going to be just fine. And the bank wouldn't have loaned us the money if we couldn't afford it. That's what I keep telling myself. But we do need to pay it off. Let's pay it off. All right. Next, we're going to hear from Mrs. Coles, who is our Director of Development.
Thank you, thank you. Perfect segue into stating that we are spending lots of money. So that's where my job comes in, is to help us raise funds to help do all the amazing things that we promise you and promise your children that we're going to do. So it is my job to help deliver on those. Do we have the clicker, Mrs. Schuler? All right, so I know it looks a little bit more like an ice rink at the moment, but of course, the main thing that we are currently raising money for is our Griffin Field. I'm going to try to no longer say the Field of Dreams, our synthetic state to come true. So we do have our amazing Griffin Field. That is our synthetic state-of-the-art turf field. Of course, that has the beautiful seating areas, the terrace, a fountain, 2 new playgrounds, and just a whole lot more. So I'm very excited about that, but I need your help and I need your partnership on this project to fully make it happen so we can have Mrs. Schuler sleep good at night knowing that we are in good hands to pay off the loan that we had to take out. So a little bit of an update of where we are with our fundraising on the field for our capital campaign. As we've mentioned previously, the whole project is estimated at $4.5 million. And so it is our goal, and I need your help, that we would like to raise at least half of that. So our goal is for $2.5 million. And we did hit our historic milestone, and with a lot of your help and support, we did surpass $1 million raised, as Ms. Jacobson previously mentioned. And I'm very proud of that. That is something that hasn't been done in Westminster history, so we can only keep going up from here. Our initial goal is to hit 1.6 million, and then after that, we'll kind of move on to our phase 2 of our fundraising. So we're currently at 1.2, so we are getting there. So I'm looking forward to hopefully having conversations with you all if I haven't already. We send out our monthly field updates, keeping you guys abreast of what is happening. So please do read those, or I have updated field packets and things as well. Please always stop by, give me a call, or shoot me an email if you are interested in helping us with this project. But it's truly your children that are benefiting from this amazing project. So we're really looking for our current parents to take the lead in this effort to help us get this thing to fruition and help us move on quickly to help do our next project which is that upper school wing. And at our groundbreaking ceremony, Mr. Glover, our former head of school, graciously decided to do a $100,000 matching challenge of gifts of $5,000 or more. We're currently at $75,000 of that $100,000, so we only have $25,000 left to hit his match. So if that is something you're interested in, let me know. Again, that's gifts of $5,000 or more. And lastly, if you want more information and you want to see the field, hopefully once the ice and snow melts, come on by. Let Mrs. Van Bevers or I know that you're interested in coming and learning more. And we'll take you on a personal tour out there, and you will really get to see everything up close and personal. And I know the picture, as beautiful as it doesn't do it justice when you're really standing on that field and really recognizing what a transformational project this is. And we keep saying the Griffin Field, but let's not forget that it is 2 amazing playgrounds as well. So when you're up close and personal with it all, I do think it has a different impact. So if you're interested in doing that, please stop by, and we're happy to set up a meeting to have you do a personal tour. All right, so this is our kind of our donor pyramid of what we are calling our leadership gifts, which are gifts of $10,000 or more. And we kind of broke it up into 4 different levels, from $10,000 up to $100,000 and above. And as you see, I indicated how many of each level that we would need in order to hit that $2.5 million. So we have about half of the $10,000, 4 out of the 15 of the $30,000, and so on and so forth, to hit our goal of 2.5. And I want to reiterate that these gifts, if it's needed to finance them over 2 or 3 years, we are more than willing and we are flexible to work with you on that scheduling. So let me know if that helps out at all. You can do gifts of stock, and oftentimes employers will also match your gift. So we have gotten very generous donations that the companies match it. And so it's just extra donations on top of what you're already giving, and it's a bigger way to make it impact. And as I mentioned, there's updated field field packets that I have available. And I really just want to take a brief second to say thank you to everyone in this room and to everyone who will listen to this. Thank you so much for your support. Truly, my job, I couldn't do it without you. I'm on your team. We need to work together as a team. I'm trying to raise the money to do better things for your children. So if there's any way that you can help support this effort, I would appreciate it. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who has already donated to this. On our Giving Tuesday, all that money also went towards the field. So gifts, whether big or small, I truly appreciate all your support. So thank you so much. And then we have some new exciting naming opportunities if anyone is interested. So as I mentioned, the leadership donations are of gifts of $10,000 or more, which will be recognized on our donor wall, which will be outside of the field on the retaining wall. And that's the picture up in that top right. That is what our donor wall will look like. It's going to be nice and beautiful. So a way to get on the wall, but also have another specific plaque just for you is to do a naming opportunity. And some new ones that we have are some high top Adirondack chairs, which are in that other corner. It's 2 beautiful chairs and it has a little table in the middle. And then we have wooden benches crafted from the trees that once stood on the field, as well as a hand-carved log with woodland animals, which is this bottom right picture. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it's going to be really cute. We have the staircase leading to the field that is also a naming opportunity. We have the kindergarten through 8th grade, the bigger playground available as well. And then if you happen to have $1 million or somehow win the lottery and want to name the field after you, definitely come see me, as that is something I would love to talk to you about. And then hopefully you saw our most recent email, which is that we finally launched our Buy a Brick campaign for the field. So we have 3 different levels here. If the $10,000 and above might be above your budget, but you'd still like to contribute and support the project, it's a great way to leave your legacy here at the school, your child, your family, or you can make the brick in honor of somebody. Sometimes people do their parents or things that helped them get here. So we have the 3 different levels starting at $2,500 up to $75,000. And there's a couple pictures there of show you from bricks that were purchased many years ago. So this is actually a relaunching of this campaign. So hopefully you saw the email. There's a Google form to fill out. You can also find the forms on our website as well. And last but not least, besides the field, we are also making an impact with our annual giving campaign, which this year was Dreams to Reality. And our goal for that is $150,000 for this year, which is extremely modest, but we know we're also in the middle of a capital campaign. So it's important, of course, that we reach that goal, because as Mr. Folk just stated, annual giving, is what bridges the gap between what tuition doesn't cover to make happen all the special things that we do here at Westminster. So it's really important that we meet that goal every year. And I'm really looking for 100% participation. And so when I say participation, that's on, Giving Tuesday or Shakespeare's Giving Day. You participate by coming to the gala. Those specific things are the 5K. I know we had a very successful and fun 5K, so thank you for everyone who showed up for the events as well. It all helps and to support the school. And so as I mentioned, some of those things for the annual giving for the fall were our Gallant Griffin annual sponsorship program. That is just such a monumental program that I started from scratch here a couple years ago, and it has grown, and we raised $50,000 alone from that program this year. So truly shout out and thank you to those who hopped on board with me and joined us in supporting that program. And the Gallant Griffins, the support from that helps cover the cost of our 5K and our gala. So that's really monumental and really important to help me at the beginning of the year make for a successful year. And then for the springtime, as I mentioned, we have our Reach for the Stars Gala. That's our theme for the year to go along with the dreams. Dream it, achieve it. That is March 21st from 7 to 11 p.m. I am still looking for donations. There's also, we just sent out an email, and you'll be getting plenty of more, of course, throughout the next month and a half. If you're interested in donating any items, or maybe you have a beach house that you would like to, rent out for a week to a current family, or donate, or a handbag, jewelry, anything like that. We're looking really for those unique experiences as well. So if you have any of your connections to businesses or different, opportunities, please let me know, as I am always in need of donations and further sponsorships for the gala as well. And then an exciting event that we have is Grandparents' Day on April 17th. So mark your calendars. We had this event in the fall last year, but we moved it to the springtime this year, so that way the weather would be nicer and that our field would hopefully be completed and grandparents can come back and see how beautiful the new field looks. And then last on our annual giving list is our Spring Giving Day, which is April 23rd, which is Shakespeare's birthday and a Shakespeare's Giving Day, as I call it. And so these are just the different opportunities for you to help out. But as Mrs. Schuler mentioned, you can help out with your time. If you ever want to volunteer, I had volunteers for the 5K, volunteers for the gala, different opportunities like that also arise. So truly, thank you so much. I couldn't do my job without you, and I look forward to partnering with you all here the next few years so we can keep doing amazing things at Westminster. Thank you. And I will hand it over to Mrs. Schreiner.
Thank you, Mrs. Coles. All right, I get to round out the evening with my still somewhat hoarse voice, so bear with me. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm sounding a lot better too, believe it or not. But it is a busy time in the admissions office. I'm so grateful to you all for being here tonight. As has already been stated, your support means so much on so many levels and in so many ways, but just your presence here tonight speaks volumes. So like I said, it's a busy time in the admissions office. The students are the lifeblood of what we're all here for, right? As parents, you know that. As teachers and administrators, it's the reason we show up for work every day. So I take my job seriously, and it's an honor to build the community with parents and students alike. So our enrollment overall remains steady in the 2025-26, our current school year, from last year. And this is in spite of, administrative changes, which always happens every 4 years, in the political landscape of the DMV, and the economic uncertain times. So there was definitely some time back in the spring when we were looking at, are we going to be able to maintain our enrollment numbers, as many other independent schools were also experiencing that scary times, I suppose. But our applications for the next school year are up. I'm very happy to report that it's our biggest applicant pool in recent years. There are two factors for this. One, well, actually, probably many more than two, but two that I note here are that our application opened a full month earlier this year, which seemed to make a big difference. So those early applications came in, and we have greater numbers coming from our preschool families looking at enrolling in the kindergarten. So I think that, in addition to what's already been stated about the field and the visibility of the school, has really led to a busy time for me and an exciting time in future for the school. So just some ongoing efforts that I want to note here are the marketing campaigns and our advertising partnerships. So we do partner with a digital marketing firm called Truth Tree. They've been very instrumental in helping us build better quality leads. So a lot of our interest is still coming from online. Our number one source is you all, word of mouth, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But nonetheless, it is important, as you know, to have a presence online today in today's world as a school. So the digital campaigns are resulting in increased visibility online and in social media. As has already been mentioned, we're currently engaging in a redesign of the school website, which I'm very excited about. I think it will really make a statement, and I'll probably be reaching out to some of you for some feedback and just so that we can make sure that we're designing a website that is user-friendly and will be helpful for our current families as well as prospective families. What else? Oh, we have an A+ rating on niche.com, which we received in 2025. We're very proud to be maintaining that rating. And then in terms of our print advertising, we're really focusing on some larger scale publications, Northern Virginia Magazine, Arlington Magazine, Virginia Living, and some other larger scale, high visibility print magazines, as well as local community newsletters. So we found this to be extremely helpful, and maybe if you have an idea of a community newsletter that you find gets good readership in your area, we're currently advertising in Lake Barcroft Association, as well as there's another one that I will think of the name of shortly, a community in Arlington. So those are great ways to reach, folks just like you, and the print will come right to your home. Ongoing community outreach and engagement with local schools and preschools, chambers of commerce that we've mentioned as well. And I had the privilege of attending a conference hosted by our local independent school association, which is the Association of Independent Schools of Greater Washington. This is a report that came out of a study done by the Enrollment Management Association in 2025, looking at the top factors considered during the independent school search, reported by parents. So this report was entitled Family Perceptions of Value and Affordability. And hopefully it's not too small to see, but I put a little check mark next to the top 3 because it really stood out to me, and it highlighted the value of the Westminster education and what families are valuing in today's landscape of looking at independent schools. So access to high quality academics, providing an education that will challenge their child, and then access to athletic programs. So you can see the number of families that are valuing those 3 qualities, those factors at the top of their list. And it just reaffirms that we are on the right track as a school, that we are aware of the landscape of what families are looking for, and that our investment in the field will be a good one because of the way that families are valuing the athletic programs nationwide. And then just lastly, how can you help? So word of mouth continues to be our best marketing strategy. I have passed around, actually I'll get to that in just a second. Sign up to be an admissions ambassador. Many of you already are. I appreciate your help so much, attending an open house, coming to one of our events, a social event in the spring or the summer. I'm going to be out for much of the spring and summer, but I have a great team of support here from the administration and from the teachers. So I have no worries at all that everyone will be in good hands. But, of course, the parents love hearing from current families. So it is the number one thing that you can do is to reach out to a current family to bring us someone, or just to show up and talk to the families that are already interested in the school. The second bullet point I really want to highlight, writing an online review on one of our many platforms. And I believe there are on the tables here, this top 10 Help Our Griffin Family Grow list here. So grab one of these. It hasn't changed much over the years, so you might already have some at home, but it always is nice to have a refresher. And on the back, I've tried to make it really easy. You can scan the QR codes right to these top sites. Niche is the number one. I would prefer that you visit and write a little review. It makes a huge impact, and it's a big reason that we have that A+ rating on Niche. And I know of families that have found us through that website, as well as many others. So Private School Review. The one place not to write a review, because I don't think it will let you, is Google. So don't write a Google review. Is it? Oh, yeah. Oops. It's not on this QR code, though. So I already mentioned the becoming a family, a buddy to a new family. The flyer is great. I want to mention a few things on the front of the flyer that would be especially helpful right now. Number 5 is to visit a preschool with your current Griffin. So this is especially speaking to families with younger children. If you have a student in kindergarten or first grade and they attended a preschool that's not the Griffin Academy, it's a great way for us to build that partnership and get the pipeline flowing from other schools in the area. So I do my best to visit preschools and make sure they know of Westminster School, make sure they're promoting the school's kindergarten to their own families. But if you're still in touch with your preschool, or it would make sense for you to go back and take your kids and say, hey, look how my child's grown, and we loved our time here, and here's some information about Westminster. It's that would be a huge benefit to us. And then I already mentioned the review. So writing a review is really instrumental as well. Just one more last exciting thing is that coming soon, Mrs. Coles and I have been working on a Westminster online apparel store. It is very close to being launched. So this will be available for very basic items. We're not trying to compete with the 8th grade fundraising that happens every year for the Spirit Week, but we want to offer t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets. We have adult sizes and children's sizes. Again, just kind of basic wear that we can use to help promote the school. Wearing the Spirit wear, wearing uniforms out in public is a great way to get the visibility of the school out into the community, and for alumni, and for us as parents and teachers. So it's going to be great. Mrs. Coles and I put a lot of time and effort into picking items, and it's going to be a growing project. I think, this is sort of phase 1. So we'll take feedback and see where we can go.
Well, how fortunate I am to have this amazing administrative team. You all love your teachers, as you should, because the teachers are the beating heart of the school, and nothing happens without the teachers. But these are the people that work behind the scenes, and oftentimes, don't get thanked, don't get all the Christmas presents and all the things that all the teachers get all the love. But we need to love the admin team, because everybody on our admin team does the job of 2 people, if not 3 in many cases. We have a lean, mean machine, and they work hard, every single one of them. Mrs. Isaias is nodding because she knows, but we love it. Ms. Mock is nodding because she knows. We love the school, and that's why we do it, because we believe in what we're doing here. So let's give back the love to the admin team, to the board, to the parents who are here, and all the parents who work so hard for the school, to our beautiful kids for whom we do everything, and, to the world. That's what we need to do. So when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. I love that. And Mrs. Gall used to say that every morning before she got out of bed, she would open her eyes and she would say, "Thank you, God, for another day of loving." So that's what I love, that living and loving. That's what we need to do. Now, we have the handouts from admissions. I also printed out the tuition overview packet, which you received as an email, but if you would like a hard copy that has the information about the tuition, maybe I'll put them on the table over there, Ms. Martinez. Is that okay? Do you mind? And once again, I want to thank Mr. Crook for helping us tonight. Thank you, Mr. Crook. Thank you, Mr. Falk, for being with us this evening. Thank you so much, Keith. We're so grateful. Thank you to our admin team. Thank you to all the colleagues who came tonight. Appreciate you. We're right at 8 o'clock, but if anyone has a question, I'm happy to take it. Is everybody excited? Yes, ma'am.
My question is not exactly pertaining to everything tonight, but for when I came to get the kids earlier today, there was a basketball game, and I have no idea where the schedule is for the sporting events. Is it possible to have that somehow like on the back of the calendar that we get, or something that we get home every month, or to see like when the games are? We'd love to attend.
Sure. It's on Blackbaud. It is on Blackbaud, but you have to opt in for the athletic events. So you just click that button on Blackbaud, and it's there, and we also put it on the sign. But we would love for you to come and cheer on the Griffins. Today, we had a nail biter, I heard. So the girls, the JV girls, Lydia told me that they won by 1 point at the buzzer with a ball that went around the rim and dropped. And I missed it because I was getting ready for tonight. But anyway, that's pretty exciting. So we are having a good year with the basketball. Just imagine what we're going to do with this new field and all the opportunities that it's going to bring for new programs, new sports, and just that the kids are going to be able to be out there and enjoy it. So I can't wait. Unfortunately, the snow is delaying things a smidge. Probably going to be mid-March now by the time that, and that's assuming the snow melts before we can get out there, because you can't plow it or anything because you can't mess with the fibers. And God knows I don't want anything to happen to it, our beautiful field. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but that's all right. And we'll celebrate. And I can't wait to have the ribbon cutting and let the kids just run out there. They're chomping at the bit. All right, any other questions? Well, we appreciate you. We thank you so much for venturing out in the cold, and we'll send this out to everybody else, but it meant a lot to us to have people to speak with tonight. So thank you for being here and for coming out. We appreciate you. Have a good night.